Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the ActionsOfTrade.com nightly wrap-up show. Hope everybody is doing well. Crazy market, absolute crazy market. Guys, do me a favor, take a moment out, take a second out of your time, support the channel by clicking a like if you haven't done so already. Thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us. And if you haven't done so already, click again, just come aboard, subscribe to the channel. And hopefully, again, I will do my best to point you in the right direction. There was no video yesterday. Kenyon was traveling. Yesterday was an incredible day. Incredible day yesterday. Incredible day on Monday. What happened today, right? What happened today? Well, first of all, let's go back to yesterday. Quick review, and then I got to go take my daughter to her basketball training. Yesterday, you guys, if you weren't trading, there was the whole little bit of a Nvidia event. Which the CEO was pretty much giving details of what's happening and what is going to happen in the foreseeable future. Just to give you the kind of the crib notes, right? The summary. Nvidia yesterday basically announced some sort of AI agreement, one or multiple AI agreements with pretty much every single company in the NASDAQ 100. Literally every single company in the NASDAQ 100 got a piece of Nvidia in some sort of AI capacity. Nvidia, if you guys remember over the last couple of days, we were talking about they were coming for the 190, the 195s. Yesterday, they started coming ahead of, I guess, the presentation or the conference, whatever the hell it was. They started coming for the 205, 210 calls. Nvidia, this was one of the biggest moves I can remember in Nvidia in, pretty much ever. Stock went out of its mind. Again, AI is not a fad. AI is not a bubble. Maybe some of these stocks will have a bubble-esque type reaction. But it's here to stay. Again, I don't care if you're 14 years old or 140 years old or somewhere in between. Even my dumbass uses AI every single day, whether it's just looking up a recipe, finding out information about anything, right? Anything. AI is here to stay, whether you are, an advanced user of AI making videos or making movies or anything. AI is here to stay. I promise you, this is not the internet generation of people just coming out on the internet and say, I'm pulling my jewelry line on, a jewelry store online, and the stock goes up 200%. This is it. This is real. It's just going to get better and better, and it's going to benefit our lives. So Nvidia, just an absolute amazing move. Avago, we talked about this over the weekend video, was coming out of a range. They were coming out, if you guys remember, they were coming out with 377, 380 calls. The stock went just absolutely nuts in the last couple of days. We saw really, really big buying today coming in for the weekly 390, stock closed at 386. We saw some 390 and some 400 weeklies come in on Avago going into the last 2 days of the week. Just an absolute monster. Speaking about monsters, the move of the day today, 100% was PLTR. Right from the word go, we had a nice pivot on this thing above 192.83. There was a big call buying came in right at the word go. They started coming in for the 195s, one after another, but it really got aggressive when they started coming for the weekly 200 calls. As you see, the high of the day is 199.85. Look, take advantage of PLTR and Avago tomorrow. I think Nvidia could be a little bit stretched out, but take advantage if there's any type of profit taking. We'll get to reason why. The Microsoft, Meta, some of the earnings came out after the close. But if there are any weakness tomorrow, take advantage of rising 60-minute support with PLTR, with Avago. Nvidia, I'm going to leave alone. Again, 5-day move. Stock went just out of its mind from 180 to 212. It's a little bit overextended. If it goes, it goes, but it's a little overextended, at least for my view of value. That's all it is. I'm not saying can't go high. It's just my view of value. Big story today, or maybe not a big story, depending who you ask. We had Fed FOMC. They cut another 25 basis points, leaving room for a little bit more cuts. The market first started rallying, and then they started selling off. And the final numbers were basically the final numbers. The Dow closed on the red side, nothing, 74 points. The S&P was flat, and the NASDAQ gained 0.5%, led by, again, Nvidia, PLTR, and Avago, and some other semiconductors as well. Let's get the earnings, right? Get the earnings. If you guys remember last week, you had Netflix come out with earnings, disappointed stock got hit. You had Tesla coming out with earnings. Initially, the stock got hit and then had this massive, massive rally, right? Massive, massive rally. And then the stock sold off. And now the stock is just going sideways. I got a little bit of beef, not really with Tesla. For the last 3 days, and all of us in the webinar, we kind of laugh about it now. In the last 3 days, literally Monday, Tuesday, today's Wednesday, I've had at least a $3, $4 runner at some point through the day, going through the afternoon session. I go to the gym and my runner gets stopped out because the stock gets pulled. Guess what? It happened again today. The good news is the stock did not lose the 5-day moving average on the surface. That's very, very good. So the longer now Tesla goes sideways, right? You see this? The longer it goes sideways, the higher probability it will attack the October high. So why is this important? Because again, they're still coming in with aggressive call buying, guys. They're still coming in for the 470 weeklies, the 480 weeklies. They're still attacking the November, first couple of weeks of November, the 500 plus calls. We've, again, continuously seen January $600 calls. So the longer Tesla, especially with the Microsoft Meta reaction to earnings, again, we'll get to that in a second. The fact that it's not going down, and again, obviously anything could happen tomorrow at the open, but the fact that it's not going down, the fact that it's 2 days in a row put in higher lows, hugging the 5-day moving average. Eventually, if it catches a bid and the options market goes absolutely good, gonzo again, this thing potentially could test the October highs. But now we shift our attention to earnings today. So we got the big ones, right? We got a very, very big, obviously, we got a very, very big 24 hours of earnings. I'm going to go through the biggies. Obviously, there's a lot of companies that are reporting, including the Starbucks and the Chipotles and stuff like that. Carvana, Carvana is getting, smashed here on earnings. But again, I don't want to go through the secondary companies. There's just way too many to list, but we want to go through the big ones, right? Let's start off with the good. Google came out with earnings. Google's been on an absolute, monster run. Great numbers, really, really great numbers. They beat the top. They smashed the top. They smashed the bottom. Stock is surging after the close. Let's get to now the ones that did. If you guys remember 2 days ago, Microsoft came out with a PR, a really, really big PR, $250 billion open AI, some sort of pact partnerships. Who the hell even remembers what the hell it is? It had a monster move, and then they kind of sold the stock for the last couple of days, literally. Again, you could turn around and say, well, maybe it's profit taking, maybe it's not. Going into earnings, we know one of two things. You can physically have the earnings right in front of your face, and you don't know how the market's going to react via price actions. We know that. So the question is always, after a stock has made a big move, the question is always, is the price reflected in the shares, or can it keep going? Again, that's an answer we can't possibly figure out or handicap until the market actually absorbs the news. Well, Microsoft came out with earnings. They beat their top. They beat the bottom. Blah, 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 blah. The stock is down about 3% as of right now. Again, right now it's around 10 to 5 Eastern time. By the time you watch this video, again, it could be green in the day or it could be down 10%. We don't know, but it did beat the top. It did beat the bottom, and the stock is down about 3% after hours. Meta's getting smashed, right? Meta's getting pretty hit pretty aggressively here. Stock is down about 10% after hours. Look, they talked about a one-time charge, right? A one-time charge of $15.9 billion. Usually, if I'm going out to dinner and I want to charge it to a business expense, what's it going to cost you? $300, $500, depending on how many people. Well, they swim in a different lake. $15.9 billion one-time charge. Stock is getting absolutely manslaughtered after the close. Is this something that is a death sentence? I don't know, because if this thing is a one-time charge and cooler heads prevail, can they possibly buy the dip? Sure, of course, absolutely. We are in a bull market, but as of right now, we are getting hit. Meta's getting hit pretty aggressively. If you look at the daily chart where the stock is right now, we are holding levels right around the 10, not necessarily the October lows, but the October lows are around 690. Okay, if this thing starts building below the October lows of 690, can this thing see 670? Sure, absolutely. But again, we want to see how the conference call is going to be perceived, right? If this indeed is not a biggie, a $16 billion one-time charge, you're good. You could see the stock start to rally going into tomorrow. Again, a lot of names are coming out after the close. Chipotle, Chipotle is another name, and I said this. I go, usually the stock does very well. My son is eating Chipotle like 3 times a week. Yeah, not so much. Again, a lot of names, guys, a lot of names, fast and furious are happening all over the place. Let me see what my Starbucks is doing. Starbucks, which I love more than anything in the world, not really doing anything. Carvana, we talked about, is getting smoked. Etsy is getting smoked as well. So we're not getting a lot of love here after the close of a lot of industries. As far as earnings, one name that did very well today was Caterpillar. That's actually very good because it represents a lot, right? It represents a lot of American industries, not necessarily American, but you kind of get the point. You had the casino stocks getting hit, MGM Grand down about 8-9% after the close. So not great, man. Not really great earnings. Really not great earnings after the close. You got some, you got some companies like CNC, which I'm pretty not even familiar with, up about 12%. But a lot of names got hit, right? A lot of names got hit. But again, I draw back to your attention to my favorite darling, which is Tesla, and it's kind of hanging in there. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I couldn't care less what the rest of the market does. If this damn thing can just wake up tomorrow and not give back the rest of the day and kind of get my runners into the close, I'd be very happy. But after everything's getting hit and Tesla's down like 30-40 cents after the close, maybe it's finally the day tomorrow, right? Maybe finally the day tomorrow. I would love to see it take out the October highs. I'd love to see the option flow come in, get very aggressive, and see if we can get one of these parabolic runs that we are used to, love, and can't get enough. And that's it, everybody. I got to run. Sorry, but for the quick update, again, daddy duty calls. We're getting ready for the basketball, high school basketball season. So all hands on deck. Guys, God bless everybody. Have a great evening. And with God's help, I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.